to this Friday morning session. We have our great, I would say I've been following you for quite a while, Teddi. And so I feel like and then I watched a video with you. So I feel like I kind of know who you are, but I know that that's very surface level on that. But welcome.
Thank you.
This is Teddi Parker, and I know a lot of you are fans of Teddi's, and we'll be able to get into looking at some of her work today too, so it's going to be really fun. But where are you at, Teddi, right now? Where do you come in from?
I have a little house in Fort Collins, Colorado. You mean like specifically where am I right now?
I just mean, Fort Collins, Colorado, that kind of thing.
Yep. My kiddos are watching a movie in the studio, my husband's studio. I'm in my studio. And
super awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome. So I'm going to tell you where some people are coming in from here. We've got people from Alberta, New Brunswick, let's see, Highlands Ranch, Colorado. There you go. St. John's, Newfoundland. Yeah, wow, Ballard, Idaho. So very, very fun.
That's so fun.
Yeah. Arizona, all over.
Nice.
Welcome everybody. Welcome. I'm going to give you guys a couple quick announcements while we're letting people roll in. And one is just, Teddi, I want to tell you that we have the coolest community of people in the world. I really believe it. Like these friends are in this Facebook community. Almost everybody's in the Facebook community, but it's like a community where people can share and people can grow and people can really encourage each other. And it's been super fun. Last summer, there was actually even a group of people that on their own decided to have a get together, like weekend plein air paint out. And so they all kind of gathered and did a camping trip. Isn't that awesome?
So cool.
I actually saw that you were doing some plein air painting this year, like in the late summer or fall or something.
Yeah, I tried to get something going because my neighborhood is full of painters and artists, actually. So like, let's get all together. I just love, have you ever seen the show Portrait Artist of the Year or Landscape Artist of the Year? It's in the UK, so it's really actually hard. I have to pirate it when I watch it. But it's wonderful. The landscape one specifically, it's a contest, so there's judges, but then they invite, I think, 100 extra artists to just paint in the background for fun. And I'm like, that looks so amazing. So I was trying to recreate that myself, but we had maybe four of us at a time.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people recommend that show, and I've actually never watched it. So
yeah,
I do need
it's really hard to get it here. We keep pestering them, like, let us, stream it here, but not yet.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Well, guys, I want to tell you that we got some feedback from some feedback on the first week, and I just want to tell you that we're going to make a change next month when I do the introduction to the theme. I'm going to extend my painting time a little bit. So we always have this, Teddi, like when you have a membership or something, you're always trying to, at least in my opinion, we're trying to draw walk the line between making things really accessible and not making things too long, but then also making it good. So I got some feedback from my demonstration that I did this last week, and people were saying, hey, I'd love to see you finish that a little bit more. So I think we've come up with a solution, which is we're going to show the demo, have it at the 30-minute limit, and then we're going to add on at the end after the Q&A. If people want to stay and watch me finish it, if I have more things that I know I can do, then I'll finish it, but it will be kind of like an added thing, and you don't have to stay for that at all.
Oh,
But
cool.
anyways, yeah. So guys, I'm going to jump in. We are here with Teddi Parker, and we've got a few questions that I'd love to just let you answer. And guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. I don't know for sure if I'll see them, but I'll do my best. If I see something, I'll see if we can squeeze it in. And maybe at the end we might have a little time. But Teddi, how did you get started as an artist?
Yeah, I'll try to talk at the camera, but I prefer to look at your eyes. So if it looks like I'm not looking at you. Gosh, my whole immediate family. So I'm one of 3 kids, and my parents were creatively or artistically bent as well. So we had the supplies for lots of different things all over the house. And I just had the itch in me. I think I was a sophomore in college, home back in Minnesota, waiting for my summer or semester abroad to start. And I got so bored. And you know, as a creative person, you just get that like itchy feeling inside, like I just need to make something. I just picked up paints and put a picture on the computer and copied it, and that just took off from there. I bought paints when I went and studied in Argentina that semester, and just painted what I saw, painted from photos. So that's how it gets started. I took a break. My husband pushed me back into it once I got married, but it started small and silly.
What kind of paints were you using back when you started?
Good question. Always acrylic. I was always painting in my host family's house or in my parents' house, and I didn't have money for acrylic or oils, and didn't have the airspace for oils, so
Yeah.
acrylic was the perfect fit from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something that I want to talk about, because you use house paint, right?
I do.
And I think that's such an interesting thing, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you got into that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because it's so different. I have tubes of acrylic, and then Jerry's Artorama, I was ambassador for them, so they sent me some really good acrylics. So I used the tubes, and I love them, but I was getting frustrated when I was just, doing it myself with how sheer the paint was, and I don't like layering. I paint like a paint by number, so I kind of fill in the puzzle pieces, and I just like doing one layer. So I was getting tired of the layers and the sheerness, and so Fort Collins here has this Art in Public Places program, and they have us painting electrical boxes all over town to kind of make it less of an eyesore. and I hunted down one of the artists I saw painting before I did my first one, and I was like, what do you use? Like, do I just bring my acrylic tubes? And she's like, no, I've been using house paint at the hardware store because it lasts longer, and whatever. She had her reason. So I bought that for my box, and I did a couple boxes, and I loved how it felt, and I loved how thick it was. So I just got the samples and all the colors I'm used to using. So I only have about, I think, 10 of my like basic colors, and then I mix from there. But I use them in my studio, and I loved it, and I really haven't gone back.
How long ago was that?
Oh man, it was before my first baby, so about 6 years ago now.
Okay. Because I was on so I'm going to do some stuff like while we're, okay, let me see if I can increase your volume. Is there any way you can increase it yourself? I doubt it, but I'll increase it a little bit here. I can turn it up. So I've turned it up a little bit. Maybe let me know, guys, if you need me to turn it up a little bit more. I can adjust it somewhat here. But I wanted to show some of your work while I'm talking, while you're talking, because there's no reason people need to look at me. So what I'm going to do is go like this and show some of your stuff.
Oh, look how tech savvy you are.
What's that?
Look how tech savvy you are. This is awesome.
Oh man, I know, isn't it? But this is what I thought was cool. So let me see if I can figure this out. I know, early work here. I am like loving this so much. So I'm gonna go like this and see if I can. Will this work for me? Okay. Okay, there we go. Look, now we can see you and we can see this. So yeah, I mean, like looking at this is 2014. And
Yeah,
this is the
that's when I
first
started.
picture that you have on here. So tell us a little bit about this.
Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Yeah, so in 2014, that's when I discovered Carol Marine and Daily Paintworks and the daily painting movement. So it was, I think Dwayne Kaiser originally started it, but he was just looking at the artists making these huge masterpieces and investing so much time and so many materials and just getting burned out. So he's like, let's just go small. Let's paint every day. Let's sell them for $100. And it's just people were growing so much faster and honing in their skill, and if something didn't turn out, you toss it and go on to the next one, and you don't get so emotionally invested. So anyways, I discovered this group and I'm like, this is what I need, and this is what how my brain works. And so I was painting 8x8s. I think traditionally they go 6x6, but I was never able to get that small. So I do 8x8s, but this is what does it say? Yeah, 12x16 I did of my parents, and it's up at our cabin in Minnesota. I think I gave it to them for their anniversary one year, but yep, that's an early one.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, so this is born out of painting daily is what you're saying.
Yeah, these were the very first ones. Daily Paintworks has this cool challenge where it says split your canvas in 4, paint the same thing 4 times, but set a timer for 10 minutes. And so that was one of those.
Okay. Yeah, I even see you're writing to Carol in that. This is a fun challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was looking at some of these are a little bit bigger. Like this is 16 by 20.
Yeah, I'll go big every now and then.
Yeah. But early on, I mean, were you always painting? I guess this is 8x8, 8x6, 16 by 20. Okay, yeah, I see. But this is super. It was super fun. I scrolled all the way to the bottom, and I was like, it is really fun. Now I saw somebody ask a really specific question, so I wanna just get your thoughts on it. They asked, can you tell us about your still life setup?
Oh, it's not fancy. Let me see. My husband makes fun of me actually. Back when we were in an apartment, he'd walk in and my setup would be like, I want the view from the top or super low. And so I'd set it on like a chair on top of a bucket, on top of a pillow. It'd be so ridiculous. So let me see. This is my still life table.
Okay.
And it's right next to my easel. So here's where I sit and paint. It is not fancy. I do like having specific light on it. So I have a light here. And then I have the background just white all the time, but then I can put my papers when I want patterns, and I'll stack up the board on my paints over here so it can be higher if I want a straighter view.
Oh, got you.
And then these, just random leftover still life stuff over there. So yeah, it's not fancy, but I get what I want done with what I got.
Exactly. Well, I think it's really awesome to see that you don't have to have anything fancy. You can just paint and you can create like a really awesome stuff. Like, look at this, guys.
Oh my, that's when I was playing with mixed media.
It's so fun. So what makes you want to paint something?
Wow, that's a really deep question. I think I'm probably most inspired by shapes. The shapes the thing makes and the composition I would get probably first, and then maybe color after that. So yeah, I love circles. I find a lot of my paintings that have circles in them. But yeah, I think I'm most drawn to shapes. So.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there we go. There's some more recent.
Now, how did that come up so quick? Because, I guess if I press the arrow, it just goes to more recent ones.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. Oh man, these are old.
Yeah. So fun though.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't looked back in a long time.
Well, I think it's really fun to see where, just thinking about where somebody kind of started and your,
Mhm.
because this really is about your art journey. And so talk to us a little bit about like this painting as I'm going, you're exploring. What are you exploring? What are you working on?
Yeah, gosh, this was probably still back in the early days, so I was still imitating Carol Marine a lot. Carol Marine she just big bold brushstrokes, more suggesting the subjects than like photorealism. And I was so drawn to that. I thought that looked way more challenging and beautiful than doing something more photorealistically. At least for me, there's nothing wrong with it. I was just drawn to it. So here I
Yeah.
was just playing with composition, where to put the flower, what shapes, how to break up the canvas, what colors to play with. So this was really just a play piece.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's great. I love these. I mean, they're so interesting. So you're really thinking about design and just trying to work through the composition and things and
Yeah, it feels like I'm getting my composition footing here.
yeah.
hmm
Well, so earlier, a little bit ago, you said something about acrylic paints, and I'm seeing all of these are acrylics because they're
Uh-huh.
they're kind of right before maybe you discovered the house
Yeah, I
paint.
know that the green in the back was house paint, so I was probably introducing the house paints. But
Oh, okay. So, but
yeah.
you said something about you didn't like. Well, you there was something about the paints. You used the word, and I can't remember what it is, but it was.
Like how sheer it
Yeah,
was.
what's that mean? What do you mean sheer?
Like, well, gosh, and it still has yellow house paint. Like, it's just some colors, you paint a layer and you can still see what's behind it. Like, if I was, you could still see my sketch underneath, or you could still see my pink a little bit because I prime all my canvases with pink before I paint. So, with the tubes of acrylics I was using, I just didn't like how it was like, like painting with
Very
Jello.
thin.
It's like I got the color, but it almost looks like I'm looking through the color still.
Transparent.
Yeah, transparent.
Got you. Okay, I see. And what kind of paints were you using? I think you held up some golden opens.
Yeah, gosh, I've played with lots. Because I still have to get some tubes to amplify certain colors. So like yellows when I'm doing sunflowers in the summer, this gives it a little extra punch because the house paints tend to be more chalky and white. So if I need extra
Let
colors,
me see.
I'll.
What are you holding up there?
Let's see.
Okay,
These are all from the craft store Michaels. So we got Liquitex and Artist Loft. But
gotcha.
then I do have some. I bring my open acrylics from Golden when I'm plein air painting because they dry a lot more slowly.
Yeah,
So it's kind of a mishmash.
gotcha. That's
Yeah.
fun. No, it's really fun because I see now. Like, how do you get this painting? How did you get this perspective? Where did you see this, or what
Yeah.
got you?
So a lot of my time when I need references for specific things, I'll use different websites that have them use without needing, copyright problems. So this was from I think Morgue File, MORGUE file FILE.com. I just searched for bikers, and so I think they were actually biking on sidewalks, but I split the canvas like this just for more an abstract feel. But I wanted the really long shadows.
Yeah.
Another good one I use more now is Pixabay.com. It has so many good photos artists can just use for free. So I go there for lots of stuff.
Cool. That's cool.
Mhm.
I morgue file. Somebody should write that in there. Um,
Yeah.
morgue
Morgue File
file.
and Pixabay. So Pixabay, let's see, Pixabay.com.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
They're great.
I've heard of Pixabay. I've never heard
Oh,
of morgue file before, but
yeah, Morgue
um,
File I was using back in the 2016 era, so I don't even know if they're still around. But they have some good ones too.
Yeah, yeah, really cool. So, what do you like? Here's a really practical question. Because one of the questions is like, what would you think are some milestones of your art and that kind of thing? But there's also the question, I think, of like, you're a mom, you have two kids.
Yeah.
And how do you juggle your art career with family responsibilities? Like, what does that look like in your life?
That is a great question. Do you want the family one and then the milestone question, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. So I did start painting every day before I had kids. I was still working at a coffee shop, but gosh, I had so much more free time then. Um, and so I'm still learning. In the beginning, it was a grace process. So baby came out. I just need to focus on the baby. It's okay if I don't paint. I don't think I was on Instagram at that point yet. So there wasn't that added pressure of the need for the daily part. But I mean, gosh, the kids come out and you just have to adjust your schedule and let it take time and let it be slow. And and I kind of just painted whenever they slept. And granted, it was the stressful painting because they could wake up any minute. But once it became more predictable, I could set apart one big long nap for my painting time. And it grew and it grew and it grew. And that's where we got to now. We added another baby. So my first one was having her quiet time while my second one hopefully slept. So
Yes.
it was kind of just having grace on myself. And now that my kids are older, we have the routine. We still do quiet time every day. So they still go in their room and play or read or listen to an audiobook for them for an hour and a half. And so that's my painting time every day is I get an hour and a half. So it works well for the small. And I train myself to paint really fast. So it's part saying, I'm the mom, I can make the rules to fit our day best, slash having an open hand in case it doesn't go well, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, so how long do you say your if everything goes right, like how long do you have? Is that an hour?
An hour and a half is how long
Hour
they're
and a
in their
half.
bedroom.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. Hour
Oh,
and a
that's
half.
okay. Yep.
Okay.
Hour and a half. So I'll try to have it sketched and know what I'm gonna paint the day before so I can just sit down and focus. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes I'm like, do I want to paint? Should I sit down and figure that out? So it varies, but as long as I can get an hour of it's sketched to being done, it can usually get finished.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I I think that's so helpful, because you're talking about, like, I mean, there's just so many things to juggle, right? Like, because this is, at least when you're first starting, you were saying it was before Instagram, like you weren't even like thinking about that at that point
Yeah.
necessarily. But now that you have, Instagram, guys, I don't know if you are following Teddi already on Instagram, but just a really, really fun person to follow. And you see all of
Thanks.
her fresh paintings here, um, which are almost, I find it's fun because it's like a walk through the seasons. Um,
Uh-huh. It definitely is.
yeah. So as you go back, you start getting into the fall.
Uh,
So yeah, really, really fun. But so how do you juggle that part of it now too? Now that you're into uh, Instagram.
yeah, that has been a wild ride. Um, Gosh, and I can't remember why I started. I actually think I started because church asked me to do something with their account on Instagram. So I had to make one. Call my younger sister, be like, "How do I do this? What's a story?" and and then I really loved it in the beginning because it was like a gallery that I could just scroll through of everything I've done, and which was so pleasing. I really loved seeing it. And then it was accountability. So people were, checking in on me every day. So I really loved those two things in the beginning. and I had a cool community. There was a group of us artist women who would just post challenges together and tag each other and just talk behind the scenes. Like we were becoming real good friends. Um, but then somewhere along the lines, humans just it gets twisted and you feel the weight and the pressure of needing to perform and needing it to be a good painting every day and needing to paint and have something to post every day. So the pressure was coming in real heavy. And I don't know if you guys remember that time. It's been a couple years now, but there was that time Instagram crashed and everybody lost like chunks of followers. And
Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
gosh, I just remember that first time. I think it's happened a couple times now, but that first time I was like in an emotional crisis. Like, what did I say? Did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Why did I? And I think I lost like 2,000 followers. Some people lost like 10,000, and it was just a number glitch. It wasn't real, but we didn't know that yet. And so my heart was just doing things, and I was telling my friends like, "Can you just like, I don't know what's going on. Can you pray for me?"
Yeah.
And like 2 days later, we come to find out it was just a glitch. The numbers are fine. Everything was back to normal. But man, was that a heart check. So I was like, I think I'm holding on to my status on Instagram too tightly. And so thank God for that. And my husband, I remember him saying, Instagram could crash and be gone forever. Like, what would that do to you? Where would you be? Is that
Yeah.
okay? And so ever since then, I'm like, yeah, I am still worth, I'm still worth stuff. I am important. God loves me no matter what my Instagram says. So it was just the heart check and reality check I needed. So now it's this, keeping Instagram in the proper place of my heart. I don't want to be thinking about how much will this painting sell for? Are the people going to like it if I paint nutcrackers? And just reel it back and be like, painting is fun. What do I want to paint? What is God doing in my heart? So
Yeah.
it's been an up and down journey, and it still has its up and down moments. But gosh, I'm just so thankful for what I've learned so far.
Yeah. Well, it's
Mhm.
kind of amazing, right? I mean, if I look here, I mean, it looks like you have 234 followers. No, I'm just
Yeah.
joking. Um, Oopsie, I forgot to turn off my phone. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You have
In my-
you lost so many followers that you're down to 234. No,
I
but
know.
I think that what you're talking about is so real because like anybody will look at that and go like, "Oh my goodness, 234,000 followers." Like what, and there's this obviously like there's a power kind of with social media, like a weird kind of way
Mhm.
in the sense of like you can it's cool. Like I think it's cool. Like I don't think I would have ever known who you were if it wasn't for Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's
Like
done some
so,
super cool stuff.
yeah, totally. Like and there's lots of people that I never would have discovered, and I'm sure that there's lots of people that never would have heard about me if it
Mhm.
wasn't for something like Instagram.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I totally hear you and I know what you're talking about because like you do one painting. I mean, and like then you just look at the numbers like, oh, this painting it was half as loved as this one. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like,
It messes
wait
with
a
you.
second, it actually doesn't bear any weight. It like because Instagram has their own way of figuring things out and their own way of putting stuff out there, and I feel like it's
Mhm.
it's kind of interesting, and it is a good heart check though. But anyways, thanks for sharing that honestly, because I think it's helpful for us because I
Yeah.
think people we get insecure about stuff like that. We don't know how to think about it, and that was a
Oh,
helpful
totally.
perspective.
Yeah. Oh, hooray.
Can you tell me about this painting? I see it says acrylic on canvas, and I'm just
Mhm.
wanting to know if it's really acrylic or if it's house paint.
Good question. And I don't even know for sure anymore. I feel like with that pink, it's probably still acrylic, but I'm probably
Okay.
mixing in the house paint. It's just when I need that extra oomph.
Okay.
And so I think this one was from, so Daily Paintworks, the website where I have this gallery, they have challenges. It used to be weekly. I think it might be down to monthly, but they'll post a challenge and anyone can submit a painting and upload it to that site. And so in the beginning, when I just needed ideas on what to paint, and thinking out of the box, I would go there and do whatever challenge was then, or you can scroll back and look at previous challenges and paint those
Oh,
and put them on still. Yeah, so it was just really, it was fun to have someone tell
yeah,
me what to paint and then get to be included on the website with other artists.
totally. Yeah. That's super fun.
Hmm.
So are you like in these, I'm trying to keep my eye on like this idea of acrylic or house paint, and just so, like, if can I tell a difference in what it looks like, and can
Oh,
you tell a
that's fun.
difference?
There was a phase too where I was self-conscious, what's the word, maybe, about using house paint. Like, it wasn't, I was getting a lot of kickback saying it's not archival quality and it's not real paint. So I think I would put acrylic for the longest time before I got comfortable admitting I was using house paint. So
Yeah,
we'll have to figure it out together. I feel like these are recent enough though that these are probably my house paints.
gotcha. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, I feel like I'm like, so do you like the in with house paint, it's a little bit thinner than I would think my heavy body acrylic paint is.
Sure.
And so, like, is that what you like about it? The because, like, when you were saying the transparency was a little bit of a, like, you didn't like that so much.
Yeah.
Um, I'm wondering, like, because I'm thinking I have some like Utrecht paints that are really thick,
Yeah, and you
and
squeeze it on and it makes a pile.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, my house paints are more puddles for sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But they're opaque. Like the ones that I'm talking about are way more opaque too. But I'm trying to figure out, like, if you would like them or if you would not like them because they're too thick.
I think, because yeah, it doesn't make sense to have the house, the paint you have, the heavy body, make such a nice big thick pile, and then my house paints make a puddle. But I think it must be because house paints all have that white base, so they're just, the white in them makes them more opaque. So
Yeah.
that's what I like. It's not like looking through a clear yellow glass window of a paint line. But at the same time, that's also why I need to amp up the colors with my acrylic tubes, because everything is based with white. So it's a catch-22, but I've just come to learn how to work with it and enjoy it. So
No, that's great. You, like, basically I'm trying to figure out how I can get you to paint in acrylics again.
all of my plein air paintings from this summer were acrylic. So
No,
there's that.
I know. I just cracked myself up with that. Okay, so tell us about some of your milestones.
Sure.
What you would consider like different points in your journey.
Yeah, I had to write this down because I had to think about it. It's been a while. Um, so right away in the beginning, I think as I was discovering the daily painting group, um, what's the word? Friends that we have in common got me and this woman together, and she was an artist up in Wyoming, and she was like, "Hold on, my kids are going to the bathroom."
Oh, okay, yeah.
You guys doing okay? Okay, stay in here and be quiet. If you're quiet, you can stay in here. Okay. Nope, that means I'm talking to mom right now.
It's going to know.
Okay, that's fine. Just playing here. Sorry. um. So anyway, so she's like, "Can I be your pen pal mentor? And you'll sketch pictures and we'll put together stuff and you'll mail it to me. I'll write my comments on it and mail it back to you." And that was huge. I think she shaped my eye for composition, because she'd have me rip out pages in magazines and put the figure in a square. She'd always have me, draw the box and fit it in there. And then she'd kind of, write little notes back on how it could be a little bit more pleasing, or even my color choices. And so that was huge on getting me started with knowing what color and value and how to make it dynamic and all those art words that I just never learned because I didn't get taught formally. So that was huge. Thanks, Beth Thoreau in Wyoming.
Wow,
And
that's so cool.
it's so cool. And then my husband, I took a big break after college of painting. So when I got married, my husband's like, this is really cool. Will you be a painter again, please? And so he pushed me back into it. And that's when I discovered Carol painting and the Daily Paintworks movement, which was my next huge milestone of just finding a community, like you were saying, and a style I admired and wanted to imitate. And it just felt good to find something that both, I mean, I had to train myself to do it. It didn't come naturally right away, but it was how my brain worked. So finding my niche. And that was probably the last big milestone.
That's super great. Somebody just said, I love that you frequently, I'll show this. I love that you frequently show the sequence of undone to completed painting.
Hooray!
And so I was just thinking, I'll show something here. We can all look at this together.
I feel like that was another Instagram faux pas. Everyone's like, don't show your undone stuff. It's not professional. But I was like, this is what I love seeing. I love seeing the process and the stages. So I'm glad that it's helping other people.
I think it's super helpful for, understanding, the way that you go about something, right?
Yay.
Yeah. Well, so you kind of have touched on some of this already, but, well, let me throw in this question real quick before I get into your artistic voice. But this is a really specific one. Can you answer what colors you actually use?
Yes, I have, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 of these little sample sizes. I've narrowed it down to the 11 colors I need to make it was a process in the beginning because like, oh, I can't quite get that green. Oh, I need to get a cooler green. So I've narrowed it down. I mean, they're house paints, so they have ridiculous names. Actually, this one's even more ridiculous. So this one is called Ruby Ring, but I've discovered I need a warm red and a cool red, and then a bright orange, a yellow, a warm green, and a cool green. Hey, sweet thing, can you stay over there? Okay, if you guys can't do it quietly, though, you got to go back out to the studio, okay?
Okay.
Warm green, cool green, a deep blue and a light blue, a deep purple, and then black and white. So the warm red and the cool red, so one being with more of an orange bent and one being with more of a purple bent, And so once I honed in all those, I'm like, okay, I can get pretty much all the values and colors I need for whatever I'm painting. And then on top of that, I have, like I said, the sunflowers in the summer need a bit of a push. So I have the cad yellow and then the pink. So I had to get a magenta to help me boost the pinks. Or if I'm doing those foil balloons, I needed a hot pink, which no one wants to paint their house, unfortunately. So I couldn't get a hot pink, so I have a tube. So yeah, 11 basic colors makes me what I need.
Cool. That's really cool. Maybe what I'll try to do is get that from you in writing, just so we could share it with our.
Oh, sure.
People.
Like you want the silly house paint names?
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not, right? I know that people want specifics.
It's true, they do. But then I'm like, does that put them in a box, or should I just let them pick the warm red that they want?
Well, we've given them lots of instruction on that kind of idea before, so I think they'll enjoy seeing exactly what you use.
Oh, hooray.
But here's another one. What kind of brush? Yeah.
Always flat. Let's see. I've been sent ones like this, the filberts or the rounds or the brights. So I have a little bit of everything, but I always come back to my flats. And I think it's because I like that sharp edge you get with the brush strokes. Like, oh, the sun is hitting me really weird. Sorry. But I just love everything's kind of blocky and you can see where the brush strokes are and it leaves them, I don't know. I feel like I get that best with my flats. So even when I go smaller, I don't actually like to go smaller than this, believe it or not, but it's always a flat. So.
We share that completely. I pretty much only
Oh
use
yeah.
flats. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get really cool marks with a flat. You don't, like when you force
Yeah.
yourself to use a big, huge flat brush, the marks are so much more intriguing, I think.
I think so too. I think so
Hmm.
too. Here's a question. What kind of surface are you painting on?
Oh, sure, that is a good question. Let me see if I can get a blank canvas. So if it's my daily paintings, sorry, get these. So my daily paintings are just these little 8x8 canvases that I get at Jerry's Artorama. I'm not brand loyal. This is just what they sent, or I can't even remember if they sent this or if I found these, but I just love them, so I just keep buying them. I haven't tried everything, so I can't say that this is the best. This is just the best for me. But it's just a linen primed canvas panel. And
Yeah,
then
they're awesome.
yeah, and then if I go bigger, I actually just snag a lot of the time. If I need a specific size, I'll get a gallery wrapped canvas at the art store. But I go to the thrift store so much, I just grab like I don't know, the home decor store artwork, that you see, and I just paint over it. So I prime it with my pink paint. Sometimes I'll sand it down if it's really got a weird texture on it, so the paint will stick. But then I'll wire it and hang it because they're just so sturdy. I love reusing ones at the thrift store. So a lot of the time it's repurposed, and then sometimes it's a fresh canvas that was made for a fresh painting.
That's great. I've seen when you say repurpose canvas, and I didn't know exactly what that meant. That's fun.
It's true. I don't have enough space to explain it every time.
By the way, I totally use those Centurion panels. Those are kind of like
Oh,
my
hooray!
go-to. Yeah,
That's
they're
good to
great.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like them.
no, they're awesome. What about this? Do you ever mix the paints?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'll mix the acrylics into my house paints to amp the color.
Oh, okay, you actually do mix it in. I was just thinking that you
Yeah.
used it instead, but
Oh no, I'll mix it in. Like I'll boost my house paint yellow because it's pretty white and chalky. I'll boost it with the straight up
okay, gotcha.
hues and tones, yeah, to make it more
Okay.
yellow.
Okay,
Good
cool. Here's a good question. What do you do
Mhm.
to recharge your creativity and stay engaged and inspired?
That is a
And
good question. Yeah.
because I'm gonna just do something. I'm gonna show again. I'm gonna show because I think it's fun. You can talk about it, and I'm gonna come across a place where you say like gone away or something here.
Oh, sure. Yeah, every now and then I'll post. Sorry, not posting this week, or need a break.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what do you
I
do
put
to
that.
recharge?
Yeah. So, well, I noticed one of your questions was challenges, and so I was going to talk about the
Mm,
artist block and the ebb and flow of creativity with that. So I've been painting. I mean, it feels like a short time, but when I look back, it's into multiple years. So I've kind of been able to see, okay, here's a pattern. I usually get blue about now, or I've had enough up and downs. I've had enough bad painting weeks and good painting weeks to kind of know what my heart's doing and what my head needs. So I've decided for me, it's when I hit a creative block or just get burned out, I can go one of two directions. I can say, is this the kind of creative block I need to just push through and get different ideas and just keep painting even if they turn out bad? Because sometimes that is, and sometimes it works, and I come back in a couple days and it's back to normal. Or it could be, no, I really just need to take a couple days off. I need to go look at art, or I need to not think about art. I need to start knitting or sewing or pick up a different hobby to refresh and recharge. And so that's what I've decided works best for me. And yeah, and especially with it being Christmas, when I have stepped back and taken days off, I've been sewing Christmas presents and I've been knitting sweaters and scarves, and it's just like a different medium, and I can come back to my easel and my paint and be excited about it again. Like just need, yeah, there we go.
There we go. I knew there was
Yeah.
one down here somewhere.
Yeah. I regularly don't post on Sundays just to have, one day of the week where I'm not thinking about Instagram. So that's a regular
Yeah.
one. But then every now and then you just need to ask yourself, do I like painting? No, I'm sick of it. Okay, I need to take a break. Don't paint if it's not fun.
Yes. That's so good. Let me see if I have any other. So I know that like we kind of have talked about this too, but how do you feel like you discovered your artistic voice? Like, because when I look at your work, one of the things that I think about is you have such a wide variety of subjects. I mean, just like scrolling through, dandelions, like some snail thing, raccoons, fish.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then some landscapes, in there mixed in with all these different little still lifes. So
Yeah.
I think, that just from observation, I feel like there's a little bit of like you wouldn't say, oh, well, you're the Western landscape painter, like that you might look at somebody else. But what is your artistic voice? Like, how would you describe it yourself? And then like, how do you feel you got there?
Wow. Yeah. Great question. And it's so much easier listening to what others see in my art than having to myself. So we'll see how this goes. I do. Yeah. I don't think my artistic voice is in the subject. It's in the style. So it's in the brushstrokes and the bright colors more so than, in the summer, I'm a flower painter. In the winter, I'm a pepper painter.
Yeah.
But I do agree with that. So it does come down to how I put the paint down. I think more is where my voice is. Because I want to be able to tackle any subject or any whim I get and be able to paint it and enjoy it and have fun and be able to break it down in my head where I would start. And then I think it's more fun to watch when I'm posting random stuff. So, but I think it came from, so I'm going to say Carol Marine again, because I saw her stuff and it was like, wow, that speaks to my soul. I love her brushstrokes. I love how she puts it down. So I read every resource she printed and posted that I could get. And she describes her method is this islands to oceans method. So you paint the subject, like the island floating in your canvas. You paint the subject first, really loose. Like the brushstrokes don't even stay within the boundaries of your sketch. And then you go back around and carve it out with your negative space. And that just meshed with my brain. I'm like, that makes sense. I love how it looks. I'm going to do that. And it was a mix of imitating some of her still life she set up, figuring out how to set up my own and paint it like that. For the longest time, I would have one of her paintings up on the computer while I was painting mine so I could even imitate the directions her strokes went, So there was a lot of copying in the beginning. And I think that's okay when you're learning a new style, as long as you're not selling it as your own. I just have to say that. Because you just need to copy and imitate and so that's how it got to be my own. I did that for so long. And I want to say it probably took a good year until I did something and I looked at it and I was like, whoa, that came out of me. That was not me, riding on Carol Marine's waves or just leaning on anything else. Like I set the still life up, my brain knew what to do, and my hand was connected to it, and it happened. And just repetition, practice over and over and over. Some were bad, some were awesome. And then it gets closer and closer, more better ones, more good ones. And then it came out, and I can see the world in brushstrokes, and I can set up still lifes and know what would be exciting and where I'd put the paint. And so it developed over time, and your own nature will come out the more you do it. So that's how I got mine.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love how you're saying that too, because I'm a big advocate of copying, especially at the beginning, because it will never stay that way. I can't remember what the quote, but it says something like copy, copy, copy. And in the end, you will find yourself, something like that. But
Sure.
I think it's okay. I think people need permission to just copy at the beginning and not feel bad about it, because it's such a good way to learn.
Totally. I think so too. Hey,
But
sweetie,
you've
I love
definitely
this game.
developed
Look
a
at your
really fun, unique voice, and it is really, really great. So guys, we have one more question, and then we'll have just a few minutes at the very end. And if you have a question right now, throw it in there, and I'll try to get that to Teddi so that we can have 5 or 6 minutes at the end. But the last question is, what are you working on now?
Oh, sweet. And Jed, you're doing such a good job listening and scrolling and reading the questions. Like, you're doing a lot. I'm impressed. Let's see.
Well, thanks. I'm trying.
Good. What I work on doesn't hang around very long. So this is this week's pile of paintings, and then I'll be shipping them out by the end of the week. So I never used to paint seasonally. I got involved in a co-op gallery here in Old Town Fort Collins, and they paint seasonally, and the shop changes with the seasons, and it's so beautiful. So I started doing that too, and so now I'm deep in the thick of winter and holiday, and I can't get out of it. So everything that comes out of me lately is holiday themed. So I got lots of ornaments because I love painting distortion, and round metal just distorts stuff so beautifully. So, and then this, I like to also challenge myself and do things that aren't super familiar. So this was an ornament we've had for years, but I've never tried painting it. So I picked it up and painted it. I really have been enjoying the snow angel people, because I think it's because I had so much fun this summer painting all the kids in the pools, and it's very similar. It's just instead of the turquoise water, I'm painting white. So it translated really well. But I think that's all I have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. And guys, we're going to be giving away, Teddi, you want to show that one painting? The reason we're not giving it away today, because we haven't figured out exactly the best way to do it. We'll probably come up with a form that you guys can fill out, but we're going to give away this painting from Teddi, and we'll give it away in the end of the month on our last Friday, or it's, I guess, the Thursday, the 30th. We'll give it away there. But this is going to be, isn't that beautiful, guys?
Yay, thanks.
Okay, so, and thank you, Teddi. This has been so fun. So we have just a few more minutes, and I did see a few questions come in. So if you are willing, I'll ask you a few more here. This is a good one, I think. The question is, how did you teach yourself how to paint quickly?
That's a great question. And it's a funny answer, because it's really just my baby, my brand new newborn is asleep. I have an hour to paint. I need to get it done. It was probably partly that, and then partly thanks to the challenges on Daily Paintworks that said set a timer for 10 minutes and paint it 4 times. So it was, half practical exercises to teach me to not care so much about every brushstroke and just to suggest. So I think the suggestive painting, where you're just suggesting the peppermint and not painting every detail, fits really well with painting fast, because for the first, it's forced for so long, and you get frustrated and you don't like what you did, but you start learning what's important and what colors and what shapes do I need to make sure this reads peppermint or this reads cow, and just take what's essential. And painting fast was really helpful for that. And so I learned by practicing, setting timers, and by having babies that needed me, and I had to paint really fast.
That's great. I unfortunately can't do that, but you did say, does this look like peppermint or does it look like a cow? And sometimes like that's my problem. I'm trying to paint the peppermint, but it ends up looking like a cow. So
Yeah, it does sometimes. And you just try again.
that's funny.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll have you repeat this. I think you've said it several times, but the main person who inspired you was.
I'm gonna grab her book. Hold on. Her book is over here.
Perfect.
Yes. Okay, so I can't stress her enough. She has multiple books, but Carol Marine, it's backwards. Carol Marine is her name. She started the Daily Paintworks website and online gallery, and her and her family run it. But she's got books out that just talk about everything. They talk about how she started, how she organizes her studio, how she sets her still lifes up. She walks through how to make your still life dynamic. It's just been the most valuable resource and best person for me to imitate. So look her up.
That is great. Thank you for showing that book.
Yeah.
And do you frame your canvas panels or how do you hang them?
That's also a good question because panels can be so frustrating, can't they? Let me see if I have an example. I do. Here we go. So I don't like to frame them and have the edges cut off because I feel like you lose a lot of the painting. So what I do is I actually float them with foam tape. So I put foam tape on the back and kind of float it in the middle of a bigger frame. So I get a frame that's bigger than the painting. And I just float it in there. Don't know if that's professional, but that's the look I like.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to cover the edges because you.
No.
I
worked
gotcha.
hard for those edges. Yeah. Maybe if they were bigger, you could cover it up. It's less real estate, but.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Okay, so here's a question. What says that my sister is wondering what brand of house paint that you use?
Okay, this is a good question, but it's like the panel question. I haven't tried all the options, so I don't know if there's a best one. This is just what's been best for me because it's what's available for me. So I have, I think it's Glidden. This one doesn't say. Glidden and Bear are the two ones that are available to me, and I enjoy them. I will say though that the sheens with a less shine, so the more matte sheens, play better together. If some of them are different, and it doesn't matter a ton because I put a glossy varnish over the top anyway, so it's all going to be shiny. But there is a consistency difference, so I think I do prefer the more matte sheens when painting.
Oh, interesting. Okay. What about this? Besides like reading Carol Marine's and stuff like this, how did you learn how to paint people and perspective?
Oh, I'm glad you think I paint them so well because they're so hard. I don't know. Okay, well, here's a person. Or like my husband and Fee. I have all my art down because Christmas decorations are up. So I don't paint people often, but
That's awesome.
it is just, I don't know how to talk and hold this. It's just breaking it down into shapes and colors. I think I've been painting long enough to squint and not even see my subject. You just see it in shapes and colors. It has all been self-taught. I wonder if I could get a more likeness if I was formally trained. But because I'm a suggestive painter, I'm just suggesting the face. So sometimes if I know the face well, it'll look like who I want. But other times, this is just girl playing in the snow. So I just pick up the essential shapes and colors that I need to make her cheeks look like she's cold and where her eyes are. And gosh, it's always trial and error. Sometimes the people look horrible. Their proportions are all skewed, but it's just a thing, again, I've been practicing. Or with like when the people are smaller and I'm carving them out with the pool, it's really just suggesting limbs. And as long as the gesture looks and feels natural, you can get away with it. So
that's great. So this is I found a demo last year that you did, and I bought it. I can't remember. It was like some art connection with you.
Yeah, was it the roses with the gallery in Raleigh, North Carolina?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one I've really done live before. So.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have anything else that anybody could watch, but
You know, I have 2 or 3 YouTube videos because yeah, this question is I get a lot and it's so helpful to watch other people paint. So my heart just wanted to give you something. So I think there's one I accidentally made on accident. I thought I was making a time lapse video, but it was just normal time. So I just posted it on YouTube like this could work. So it's me painting in normal time a big jellyfish painting. So I think that's on YouTube if you just search Teddy Parker painting. Hopefully it'll come up. And I think my husband put music on top, so it's a little less distracting. But so there's that one. I did a brief one on digital painting. I think I also uploaded to YouTube. Nothing is professional because I just don't have the energy and time to make it look nice. So hopefully it helps. But I know those 2 are on there.
that's great. That's great. Well, Teddi, thank you so much. I'm going to come back on screen here because it's time. It's 11 o'clock, and I know that you've got 2 kiddos there that are waiting for you to get back and be able to talk with them, play with them and everything. But thank you so much for being here with us. I know that everybody had a good time. Guys, can you just say thanks to Teddi? And yeah, like I would love to show some of your comments here. In fact, I throw this one out there, but beautiful paintings.
Thanks.
You were so inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah, and let's see. There was a bunch earlier. Oh, here they're starting to come in. It's always a little delayed here, but whoops.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you so much because we really appreciate this. And guys, this has been. When did I first reach out to you, Teddi? I don't even know if you would remember.
I know. Well, we have that friend in common, Andrea. Right, Andrea?
Yeah, that was totally random. That's how you actually responded to me. I think I reached out to you a year ago. Like, I was like, hey, do you want to do a miniature painting thing? And you're like, I don't have any time for that. I'm sorry.
I know. I hold my time and my priorities really tightly, so I'm sorry I can't do everything.
No, that's really good. But we really do. It was really nice to have you here and be able to meet you and talk. And so, anyways, I'm just saying this to our members. If I can figure out a way to get any of the stuff that we do to be able to work with Teddi, to be able to get Teddi to be able to do anything with us, I will do my best. And I'll also honor and respect your boundaries, Teddi. So anyways, yeah, but thank you so much for being here. And guys, thanks so much. Have a really, really wonderful rest of the day. And